friends, and welcome back to Rugged Mountain Homestead. My name is Sarah, and for some time now I have been thinking along the lines of getting back to basics, what that means, and how it can be implemented into our lives. When you say getting back to basics, some people think of the very bare basics: food, water, and shelter. And of course, while we all definitely need those things, a lot of times it is also being conservative of using what you have, saving where you can, and making the most of what you have. So that's where they get the old adage of use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. And I've heard that quite a bit in my life as well. So one of the first things I started thinking about, because I am very guilty of this as well, was the coffee shop. Whenever Dean and I would go out, I would make a run for the coffee shop, and he would too. It is a treat, but we were no longer using it as a treat. It just fell under one of those things that we did when we went out. So I started thinking one day, after I realized how much we had spent one month in coffees, and coffee out is not cheap. It's usually, I get what Dean calls a frou-frou coffee, and so my coffee usually runs about $5 for a small one. He is definitely easier than me and just likes a regular drip coffee, but still, by the time we finish, we've spent $10 on coffee. So getting back to the point of where we can save money, and my first thought was, with Dean's encouragement, that I could start to make my own iced coffee. And when I started to really think about it, was the thing of, how can I do this without it being any extra cost to us, even doing it at home? So I tried a little something. Whenever we brewed coffee in the morning, invariably we have some left over. We usually brew 2 pots in the morning, and so we usually have some left. How many times, I ask all of you, have you had a cup, half a cup in the pot, and it's just gone down the sink because we think it's been sitting there a little too long, or it's sat there long enough that now it's cold, and so we've thrown it down the sink and started over? We're guilty of that as well. But I started thinking about, what could I do with that little bit of extra coffee? And so in the mornings, when I would see that little bit of extra coffee, I got a mason jar and I poured it in. Within just a couple days, I had a full quart mason jar of coffee. Now when I poured it in there, I also poured in a teaspoon of sugar each time. So usually I have, about 4 teaspoons in here by now. You say, oh, the sugar. Well, friends, your iced coffee from the coffee shop has sugar in it as well. So today I'm going to show you how I have changed, make my own iced coffee at home now. And let me tell you, I was pleasantly surprised, because I think it tastes just about the same as the vanilla iced coffee I would get at Dunkin'. So here we are. Okay, so I have probably a 16-ounce glass here. I have my quart jar of coffee. None of this was brewed for this. This all came from leftover that normally would be poured down the sink wastefully. I have some half and half and some pure vanilla extract. I would suggest using pure vanilla extract. I think imitation, even though it's a lot cheaper, I just don't think it's going to taste quite right. I know pure vanilla extract is expensive right now, but I got this one at Azure and it was a lot less expensive. Anyway, so let's go ahead and make the coffee. I'm going to take a couple of ice cubes, probably enough to fill up half of the glass. Looks about half a glass to me. A jar of coffee. And just pour that over top of that ice. Simple as that. I leave enough room for the cream. And when I pour the cream, I just kind of watch for my color. I like it to be a light brown. That looks about right. I like mine about like that. And I have figured out that it is a teaspoon of vanilla for me. So a lot of times I just eyeball it. Other times I do go ahead and pour it into the spoon. Now I have just saved myself a little bit more than $5 because would be considered a large, 16 ounces. It's great, perfect treat right here at the house, didn't even have to leave. I will probably not be buying coffee out unless I'm traveling or something like that. This is just too good. And I love the fact that we're saving money in the meantime. So that's just one little way that you can save some money. And another way I have learned, it's also kind of fun, is with my clothing. Now I will be the first to admit, and it's quite obvious, that I'm not into fashion or anything like that, but I am into comfort and into warmth and into being cool in the summer, and everybody likes to have something new every once in a while. But I have found that shopping for my clothes on thrifting or consignment has saved a lot of money. I found this company called thredUP. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I have really been impressed with their products. Granted, their products are not their own. They do sell on consignment a lot of name brand clothes. And so I tried it and really liked it. It's very sustainable, and it's an easy way to pick up some extra clothing at a very low cost. You can also send things into them and they will put it up for sale. Granted, you know, it's lightly used and things like that. And then you can actually earn some credit back to your account to be spent there, which is really good. And so save 35% off your first order. All right, so let's see what came in this order. These are American Eagle. They are just slip-in mules. They look brand new, hardly worn. I have no problem. They actually look really nice. And like I said, they're American Eagle. So I'll be wearing those with shorts and dresses. These are kind of along the same style. They are Clark's Cloud Steppers. Still the same, like, mule fashion. Very lightly used. They actually feel really cushy. Nice. Now, although thredUP does sell women and children's clothing, they don't sell men's clothing. So the first item here is 100% cotton. It is, all three of these items that I got are dresses. This one's a long dress. It's 100% cotton, but it actually feels like linen. And it's basically just a shirt dress. Really nice, has a slit up the side. but just really nice. This is a brand I haven't heard of before. Geopa, Geopa. Anyway, this feels really nice. Nice casual dress. I love wearing dresses though, because it's almost like wearing pajamas if you have the right dress. I don't care for going to the office dresses where, you know, you're in the pantyhose and the slip and the high heels, and that gets old real fast. But I love a good comfy dress. This feels a little heavier, so come next month this will be nice. This is just a really comfy dress, button down all the way down, short sleeves but heavier cotton. So as the weather starts to change a little bit, this will be nice. And then the last thing here is Crown and Ivy. I've worn it before when I was working. This is just a cute little dress. Has little bows on the side and looks brand new. It's a shorter dress. It's knee length, so I still feel comfortable wearing it. I don't feel comfortable anymore wearing any dresses above the knee, but that's just me. Another way to save on your clothes is by wearing an apron. That has been out of fashion, I'm sure, for quite some time, but I have found that it truly has saved me a bundle. I don't know how many times that I've been at the kitchen and I have either had something splash up on me, or doing dishes, just something always invariably comes up. So when you have an apron, I like to use a full length apron that'll actually cover down past my waist. And on top of that, mending is so much easier to do than just to throw this away and go and buy another one. I'm looking for it now. I had one of the straps. I got it out of the wash machine, and one of the straps had come like really loose. It looked like it was getting ready to come off. And there would be a lot of people that would probably just throw it out and say I need a new one. But I did not. I decided, you know what? I'm going to mend it. And I took it upstairs, I got in my sewing box, and that's exactly what I did. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Because it was starting to fray a little bit. Let's see, I think that's the... It was coming off right at that area. It was coming off from being attached here. And so I just turned it inside out and mended it right here. And you can tell that it's been mended because this binding, it does not go all the way down where it used to meet right here. I just didn't have enough of it because it was starting to fray. But on an apron strap, nobody's going to notice. And it doesn't really matter. It's still functional. And you know, this is a cotton apron. And even if it gets to the point where I can't mend it anymore, I am a quilter. And I can use fabric from a cotton apron, and I can use it as a piece in a quilt. And that may sound a little crazy to some people who don't quilt, but I actually did that for my daughter for her graduation. I used pieces of the outfit I brought her home in when she was a baby. I used pieces of from Girl Scouts and different aspects of her life, and I made her a quilt out of it. So there are a lot of ways that you can multi-purpose an article of clothing. So when we think about back to basics, I look for ways immediately, where can I save money? It's the lifestyle I want to live. I want to live underneath of our means so that when the time comes that we may fall upon hard times, I want to be prepared. I don't want to have to be in a complete panic. There are also times of our lives where we experience illness, death, loss of a job, things like that, where being able to understand what it means to live with the basics. So as I looked around, those are two areas in which I try to save money, not going out to the coffee shops and thrifting my clothes. You know, and there's nothing wrong with going out as a treat. When I was younger, we went out as a treat, birthdays, special occasions, grandparents in town, things like that. But it has just become so commonplace with the kids that, oh, it's Friday night, we're going out, or mom's too tired to cook tonight, so we're going out, we're getting takeout. And it just adds up tremendously. And so I'm going to be including all the things in the series that I have found that have worked for me in getting back to the basics, because it really is true, the old adage, you know, from back in the 30s, that you need to use it all. So you want to use it up, you want to wear it till you wear it out, you have to make it do, or you could come to a point where you just have to do without, you just don't have it. And sooner or later, it's going to come down to that in a lot of instances, because the way things are going now, life is just not sustainable to continue to spend and to be a consumer and never put anything forth. The next area I'm going to be looking at is going to be in the kitchen. A lot is to be said for cooking at home, cooking from scratch, and you can make a lot of things do in the kitchen. So we'll be looking at how to turn leftovers into fresh meals, not just warming it up and eating it over and over again until it's gone, because that does get very boring. We'll also look at some vintage cookbooks and see how our mothers and grandmothers had to cook in times that were lean, but yet they made it through, they lived frugally, and they made it work. And we can too, and we need to. So thank you for joining me up on Rugged Mountain Homestead. I'm so glad you stopped by, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, take care.